EnerSys, powerful solutions for a world that never stops.
Welcome to Battery Operations Management. This is a bit of an education on the methodologies that EnerSys uses to take a deeper dive into managing not just the batteries themselves, because certainly the battery asset has been having management programs go on for years. We've been taking care of the watering and the equalizing and the washing of batteries, and that technology has gone just so far. Now what we're doing is moving into a new age of what's called battery operations management. So not just the assets themselves, but also the processes that those batteries are going under, how the operators are using them, how the maintenance program intervals are going, how the battery itself is performing over time, trending over time. And then of course, decision-making, budgeting process, and those sorts of things. So addressing much more than just the health of the battery, it's the health and efficiency of the entire operation. So Zinc, oh my goodness. Excuse me. Okay, there we go. So we benchmarked literally hundreds of different battery operations because as the power authority, of course, we have literally thousands of batteries that are under our care. And we've been doing batteries management services for about 100 years. And so what we know is that most of the operations average somewhere about 58% efficiency. And that, of course, has due to poor operator practices or bad maintenance intervals or maybe some bad decision making about where to buy new batteries, where not to buy new batteries. And so that efficiency literally is costing, we estimate, millions of dollars within our industry. So what we want to do is get much more efficient. So to get much more efficient, people naturally turn to more information. But what we found out was data, graphs, charts, they don't exactly move the needle. They'll give you some information, you'll know what your problems are, but you don't know how to move the needle away from these problems into a more efficient operation. So data, graphs, and charts just don't work. So we developed a 4-step methodology at EnerSys through all of our years of learning. And that methodology starts with data collection. At its core, there's this ability to look 24/7 at what's happening with the batteries while they're in operation, while they're idle, while they're on the charger. It's looking at all of that information. So monitoring the batteries, getting visualization of what's happening, being able to have dashboards to see what's happening in the facility at that time, to understand what's going on with your maintenance processes and your operator compliance and et cetera. But it needs to go beyond that. This is where we're a little different than everyone else, is this next 3 steps. So we monitor, we place on the cloud graphs and charts in case you want to dig into the detail, but we also do the analysis piece. So we assign a technical lead to your particular facility. That lead is in charge of looking at not just the graphs and charts as individual happenings, like, oh, I can see they're not equalizing. Oh, I can see they're not watering. He's going to look at temperature, equalizing, watering, what is all of that creating for the battery's health? How do you change that problem? What's the root cause of why you're not watering or why you're not equalizing? What's the root cause of why your batteries are not lasting between shifts? And so it's his job really, his or her job really, to look at that information, look at the trends, and then to help you drive process improvement. So the 3rd step to the methodology is to have someone analyze that data and then write the action plan. So we had customers who looked at the data, thought the data was very interesting, didn't know how to analyze the data. So we built in an analyst for the data. Then we had customers who were like, okay, I understand what my issues are, and they've been analyzed really well, and I know the root cause, but I don't know the exact action to take next. So that's when we added what we call efficiency optimization plans to our battery operations management programs. So now we write the action plans for our customers and for those individual facilities. And inside those action plans and inside the portal, also built up by the analyst, is recommendations for batteries that need to be replaced, batteries that are suspect in their health condition and that need to have a technician look at them and diagnose the issues. And so now we've got this budget forecasting, a much better, much more documented and accurate picture of what you actually need to budget for that fleet. So you can see we've taken it far beyond data and graphs, and we're basically doing the work for you. And so so the results are much, much clearer. Where to spend your money is much clearer. What to do next. So a little bit about the components of the 4 steps. For some reason, this one's coming up first. Okay, let me back up just a little bit, everyone. There we go. So the first component of this 4 steps, I mentioned monitoring, right? So the first component is a data collection system. So you've got a device on the battery, 24/7, collecting data, about 6 or 7 different data points from the battery. Then you've got that information flowing up to the cloud via a gateway that's got a cellular modem connection, so you don't have the hassles of IT departments. So that information all flows up to the cloud to what we call the efficiency management portal. Okay, and then an efficiency management portal is available 24/7. And if you have multiple facilities and you're sitting at your headquarters, you can look at any one of the individual facilities, or you can change the dates of the reporting, et cetera. So that's how we collect. That's how all the components of the step number 1. Then step number 2, this thing is very sensitive. I'm sorry, I apologize. Step number 2 is the operations analyst. So we've literally got a team of people sitting in our Lisle, Illinois office, and all they do all day long is look at the information that's coming through the efficiency management portal. Every 30 days, they're assigned to update the plans on the portal. So that's the second component, your operations analyst, an actual human interacting with the information. And then you've got your efficiency optimization plans. Again, these are the action plans. So the analyst has identified not only the current issue, but also the root cause of that issue. And then, of course, the expectation. If you continue along these lines without addressing the issue, what will happen next? So he's outlining that. And then the corrective action for the facility to take. And then the corrective action for EnerSys to take. Because one of the key components and the successes that EnerSys has had with providing these kinds of management programs is that we also have the sales and service organization to come right behind that. So let's say the analyst said, you've got a problem with watering, and the corrective action is to create a new watering plan or to contact EnerSys and have them offer you a watering plan that they do themselves. And so we need EnerSys to come right along and then help you get that quoted and understand what that solution looks like. So we're really surrounding the whole operation with information, analysis, action planning, and then actual action execution. And then, of course, we also benchmark on Zincs whether or not those action plans are getting done. And we'll show you more about that in just a second. For budgeting, I mentioned to you that we can actually identify batteries that need to be replaced, batteries that are suspect and need some kind of service done to them. And so on the web portal, you'll see an entire budget page, a tab dedicated to outlining for you by your analyst which batteries need to be replaced, which batteries need to be repaired. And this is where your service organization from EnerSys is going to look at this page as well and go, okay, this month, are there any batteries I really need to contact them about? Are those batteries under warranty? Okay, I'll just go ahead and send a guy. If they're not under warranty, okay, we'll talk to them about whether or not they want to repair or replace. So it's a perfect one-stop place to look at what does my budget look like right now? What should I be spending right now? So those are the components of the 4 steps. Now, I'm going to spend just a little bit of time. I don't have enough time to really dive into the detail of the efficiency management portal, which is really your place to go and see all the details and all the summarized information. But I'm going to spend just a little bit of time on the top level tabs. This is the Home tab. Remember I mentioned benchmarking, and right here you can see a dial. Now where that dial is pointing is your current efficiency. Of basically that's the current efficiency of all of the processes for your battery and the performance of your batteries. All right, so this facility is running, no kidding, 58%, which is the average. This is actually some customer data. So this one is running at an average 58% efficiency. This was their efficiency 30 days ago. This is their efficiency right now. What we want is we always want to see the needle in the green, right? So if you're a guy just wants to come in, look at quickly, is everything going well? Am I moving the needle forward? Are they paying attention to the optimization plans? Are some of these getting executed? If they are, you know the needle's going to be moving towards more efficient. And so you can see instantaneously how you're doing in benchmarking against your past history and now your future. This is also where, again, your analyst has engaged. She's giving you a summary of everything that's happening within that facility regarding the processes and products that are keeping your lift trucks moving. And he's writing optimization plans. Now, those optimization plans actually show up throughout the site, but we boil them up just to one place so that you can instantly come here, print off all the action plans, and off you go to the green room to talk to your operators or to the boardroom to talk to the purchasing folks about what you need for budgets and battery replacements, et cetera. So that's just the home page, again, there, just to kind of minute manage things. The budget page we already talked about. And then there's the battery life page. Okay, at the heart of managing your battery operations is the performance of your assets and of the battery assets and what you're doing to actually create a problem in performance. So the key indicator of how well things are going with your batteries, the asset themselves, is, are the battery cells in balance? Okay, this is a little technical, but the bottom line is a battery that's very healthy, the voltage across the entire battery and all the battery cells will be even. When they become uneven, you have a suspect battery that may need some diagnosing, an acid adjustment, a cell replacement. So the first thing that we do is tell you overall, how are all my batteries' health doing? How is everything, are all the cells in balance? You can see they have a marginal issue right here. So they've got some work to do. Number one, in their process to stop batteries from getting this kind of cell health issue. And number two, they've got to address what they've got right now. So these all can be dug deeper and deeper, all the way down to individual batteries, right? Individual battery cell health, how's that doing? Right now, we've just boiled it up to this very top page. So that's the key performance indicator. And then next is, what am I doing to affect this? So is there anything in my process that's causing my battery voltages to get all out of whack and my cells to burn out, or my acid needing to be adjusted? What am I doing in my processes? So here, the key performance indicators, you could drill down. You could drill down into, am I using the battery, overusing the battery, overcycling it? Am I watering the battery properly? Am I equalizing the battery properly? Am I evenly using all the batteries in my fleet, or am I overusing some and underusing others? That's where you dig deep to find out how you got yourself in a hole with battery voltage. If this all looks great, you don't need to dig deep into the details, because this is your key performance indicator that things are going well or they're not going well. So that's the battery life page. And again, the optimization plans are written for you and they're populated on the site. And every 30 days, you get an email that says, go back to your site because the optimization plans have changed and the actions you need to take are already there waiting for you to read and react. So here's a little bit about drill down menus, like I mentioned. So you've got your daily amp hour throughput, you've got your battery rotation, you've got your watering, equalizing. You can dive deep into each one of these subject matters. For now, we won't. If you'd like to, I certainly can walk you through that. The next part of the site, very interesting. One of the things that we learned about doing these kinds of analysis, helping customers get better and more efficient, is it doesn't cut the same way for an operation that's changing batteries as an operation that's doing fast charging or opportunity charging. Fast and opportunity charging has a whole different set of concerns versus a company that's doing battery changing. So what we do is we specifically analyze the data based on the kind of operation you have. So we have a page dedicated to our customers who are doing battery changing. Here, the most important thing to our customers is, how much money and labor am I spending changing batteries? That's their key performance indicator. That's where they get true pain, is when they're spending too much time changing batteries. So that's the first thing we show them. Month on month, how much have you spent changing batteries based on your labor rate and the time it takes you to change them? So this is based on their actual data. And so they can ask themselves, oh my goodness, in March I spent $423 on battery changing, and then the next month I spent $1,000. I more than doubled my cost of battery changing. What happened? Did my battery start failing and they had to be changed twice as much? Did I put in a new system and nobody knows how to use it? So that's where your analyst comes in and helps you determine what exactly caused you to go from $423 to $1,000 in labor. So first is your key performance indicator, first place you go. Then if it's not going well or you have questions, that's when you dive into what is affecting this number. And one of the things that can affect that number is certainly the pool size, whether or not you have enough batteries or too many. So in this case, we do an analysis on your pool capacity versus demand. So when people drive up and they need a battery, is there a battery ready for them to put into their truck that's cooled down with the longest run time and they're ready to roll? So battery pool capacity versus demand for batteries. And then of course, battery changing operations are very sensitive to what operators do when they change their batteries. When an operator brings a battery in too early, for instance, they haven't used up all the useful life in that battery during that particular run, then they end up changing batteries twice as much. If they bring the battery in too late, so it's past 80% depth of discharge, now they're actually significantly affecting the life of the battery. So we want operators doing the right thing. We want them bringing it in on time, not too early, not too late. So we're reporting out how are you doing on that. So overall, the facility's doing pretty good. There's some bad spots here. So then you can drill down. Is it the sit-down pool? Is it the walkie rider pool? Is it the reach pool? Inside the reach pool, which batteries or which trucks are actually having this problem? So you can dig deeper and deeper into these, but again, making sure that operators are complying in their process. And then cool down time has a major effect on the cost of a battery change operation. It's one of the ways that we understand whether or not you're oversized or undersized, but cool down time's critical to the long life of a battery. And so we're reporting out on whether or not you're getting cool down time. If you're not getting it, we need to put more capacity in the pool. If you're getting too much cool down time, that means we could move some of the batteries probably out of the pool and save you money. So those are just a couple of the drill downs that you can use specific to battery changing. Now, fast charge and opportunity charge organizations, what's important to them is completely different. They are very interested in whether or not the trucks are just powered up and ready to roll. In a battery change operation, you just go get another battery if the truck has low battery. But in a zero battery change operation, if the battery runs out of juice, that truck is down until they can recharge it. So what's important to them is that they're maintaining a very high state of charge in the operation overall. So you can drill down into this and look at individual pools. Are all my walkie riders staying nice and charged up, or is it my reach trucks that are having a problem? So you can define which pools might be giving you a hard time, and then you can go down into actual individual batteries and see. And since a battery stays with a truck in fast and opportunity charge, you always know what truck it is because that battery is always in that truck. So now you know which truck, which operator, which problem is being caused. Now, what might be affecting having a nice high state of charge in the battery? Well, those things are they plugging in the battery during the breaks and shift changes? That's required in order to keep a battery at a nice high state of charge in a faster opportunity charge application. So plugins, the amount of overall charge time you're getting during the day, and the amount of amp hours you're putting through the battery. Those are things that you'll find over here because they're affecting this main KPI, right? This main performance indicator. Now, also here are efficiency optimization plans, again, written by your analyst. And again, those are all boiled up on the front page. So you've got some great information from your analyst. You've got all you need to know about your zero battery change operation. And then really the next, this is so crazy. Sorry, guys. I'm sorry. It's so sensitive that I don't even have to touch it. There we go. Okay, so then you have an inventory tab. Now on the inventory tab, that's really there because so many of our customers told us that they don't even know how many batteries they have out on the floor. They don't know, do they have 50 of one kind and 25 of another, and so it's very difficult for them to budget, or it's very difficult for them to track assets they might want to retire. So what we do is give them a complete inventory of all batteries that are there, and just a real quick snapshot of how old it is. Is it towards the end of its useful life? Have I used all the amp hours up in the battery? You know, what's its capacity right now? How's it performing? Is the status good, bad, or replace, and then how much utilization that individual battery is seeing average over its life. So again, this is just a touchstone to see really quickly what's happening with your entire inventory, organizes things for you. So that's just a basic, again, snapshot of how it works. But the beauty of it and sort of the experience that our customers are having, let's see, one company, they went in on a green field, so they put this in. They weren't operating before in a brand new facility. They put it in. They realized they had bought about $700,000 of battery assets that they didn't need and weren't going to need, right? So what we do is we quarantine some of those assets. We wait to see if the operation ramps up anymore, and then eventually we move those assets out. So planning for new facilities. They're now going to change completely the topology and the way that they plan for new facilities. That's just one effect. Another effect, customers were keeping their batteries for 7 to 10 years. They were very happy, very pleased that their battery was still in their truck and lasting for 7 to 10 years. What they couldn't see is that it was affecting their productivity heavily. That yes, was the battery still chugging along? Absolutely, but at about 40% capacity, meaning they were changing batteries about 2.5 times more than they needed to be changed. So they couldn't see that without the insight of the capacity of the battery and how it's operating and the insight of their battery change operation. They just didn't know. So those are some of the, what other examples, Joe, can you think of how people have used this kind of information? Right now my brain is kind of going somewhere else. Let's see. Oh, yeah, for lift truck stuff, but then there's also companies who are doing battery changing, who are thinking that they want to not do battery changing. They don't know if it'll work for their operation. When we have this kind of information, we know exactly whether or not it would work in that facility or not. So engineering new solutions and new technologies, very simple once you've got this kind of information under your belt.